qualification that I want to mention that the media doesn't like to talk about, because they like to just refer to me as that gun range owner who wants to run for governor. What they don't tell you, most of the time, there's some good media outlets like the Saline, the Courier, your local paper. I'm so proud of them. Great coverage. They've given us fair balance. That's all I ask for. Most of them will refuse to tell the people this, and it is the thing that most uniquely qualifies me for this time and this season in our state. I've only been a gun range owner 4 years of my life, but for almost 3 decades of my life, I was an award-winning television investigative journalist with a focus on exposing waste, fraud, and abuse in government. I don't know if you've noticed lately, but we have an epidemic of all 3 in our state government. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some of the differences between me and our current governor. Number 1, money, taxes, spending. You know, the Republican Party platform has always bragged about, we're the party about limited government. Because folks, when your government grows, liberty shrinks. Now, how do you know if your party, while in control of the government, is growing government or shrinking government? Does anybody here know? Anybody tell me what's the key indicator? Spending. Who said that? You get an A. Spending. Okay. So let's take a look at our 4 years in control of our capital, at our spending practices. Anybody want to tell me how much we grew government spending the first year that my opponent was in office? Anybody want to tell me how much?
Millions.
Not quite. $133 million. That was his first year. That was $133 million in increased spending over what we had spent before. His second year in office, we increased government spending by $140 million. His third year, $160 million in increased spending. And this year, he's proposing to increase spending by over $172 million. Folks, that is a cumulative number of over $600 million in increased spending. That is already putting us on the record as being the most government spending increases in Arkansas history. Is that how our party wants to be remembered?
No.
No.
Asa justifies it.
Jan Morgan, week 1, cap spending.
Yeah.
Cap spending, and then start digging into that budget and finding the waste and eliminating the waste and the duplication. I can't get my hands directly on the budget yet. I mean, people want me to say, okay, what is exactly your plan? Well, it's kind of hard when you're having trouble getting access to government records, especially now, especially if you're Jan Morgan. But I do know our own Lieutenant Governor on Channel 7, a month ago, said, we've got hundreds of millions in waste in government. He said that. He said that. I think you probably knows, don't you? So if we've got hundreds of millions in waste, then we can go ahead and cap spending and start looking at ways to reduce the tax burden off the back of the people. Because if you're not spending as much, then you don't need to raise as much money to feed that government beast, right? And unfortunately in Arkansas, we have this thing called the Revenue Stabilization Act, and that forces our government, I had to laugh, because our governor said in campaign mode, I've balanced the budget. I've balanced the budget every year. No, you didn't. The Revenue Stabilization Act forces a balance, but it doesn't allow your government to spend more than you put in, but it also forces your government to spend everything that you put in, unless you start setting it aside in little special places. That's how that works. On the issue of taxes, this is the one that disturbs me the most, because I'm not sure you're aware of it. Arkansas, our people are among the most poor in America by income. And yet we are also among the most heavily taxed. We've had 4 years to significantly lighten the tax burden off the backs of the people. And yet, we have not. What we've done is play this little shell game with the money. The governor, if you look at his commercials, I've cut taxes by over $150 million, or maybe it's 180, it changes, but whatever, this much. But yes, he did. That part is true. You cut this much. But then over here, to offset that cut, You raise taxes in 4, 5, 6 areas. So you don't have to be, and I'm not that great at math, you don't have to be a mathematician to understand, if you've got a pie here, and you cut a piece out of that pie and you eat it, that pie is actually smaller, right? But if you cut a piece of that pie out, instead of eating it, you go over here to the other side of the pie and you put it on there. And then you get a piece of pie over here and you put that over on this side too. And then you take another one over here and you put it there. Pretty soon, you got 5 extra pieces here. Now, have you really shrunk the size of that pie? No, you've increased the size of that pie. That's what's happening with our government spending. And that's what's happening with this tax shell game. And that's what makes me so angry. You know, I would much rather him just stand up here and be honest and defend why he's done it this way. And what's most egregious is that the military retirement tax cut. I love that tax cut. That was for veterans. I'm all for helping our veterans. In fact, Jan Morgan, as governor, wants to do more for our veterans. Right now, stand up. Stand up. Let's see what we got here. What branch of the military? Navy. Navy? Army. Marine Corps.
Navy.
Navy?
Air Force.
Air Force.
Navy.
Navy. Army. I didn't know you were in the Army, Ken. Wow. Okay. Navy.
Air Force Security Service.
Ooh, Air Force Security. Okay.
Navy.
Navy. Army. Air Force.
Army.
Army.
Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. Hi, Gary, stand up.
Army.
Army. Golf. No. I mean, you?
I'm just staying.
Oh, you're just standing. Okay. Did I get everybody? Did I get you here? Yes, did I get
Navy.
Navy, okay, good. What, I got everybody, right? Okay, good. Thank you for your service. Did I leave you out? Steve?
Yeah.
What branch?
Navy.
Navy, okay.
Navy. We got ROTC.
ROTC, okay. On the issue of veterans, folks, we are, if you look at the listings, they have a number that they attach to states regarding how well our states are doing regarding veteran services and benefits and exemptions and all kinds of things that, and veterans look at that to decide what state they're going to retire in, or whether they're going to stay in a state or move to a state where they can actually live better and have more money in their pockets. Arkansas right now is about halfway down that list. We're in the 30s range. We need to be in the, my goal would be that we move up to the top 5. And I'd like to be number 1. Let's see what that entails. But I assure you, one of the things I want to work toward is moving us up on veterans benefits so that veterans want to not only stay in Arkansas, but want to move to Arkansas. But what upset me about that tax increase is that the way they packaged that bill, it was a military retirement tax cut, but then they attached these 6 tax increases. And so as a legislator, if you voted against the tax increases, you were going down on the record as voting against a benefit for veterans. You see how they play that dirty little game? That's just wrong. It should be attaching. I don't like pork barrel. I don't like that. That needs to stop. So taxes, that's one issue the governor and I differ. We do not need to be raising taxes. We need to be cutting taxes. And when you cut the waste and duplication in our government agencies and our government without cutting essential services, I think that we can work on lightening the tax burden off the backs of the people in a number of areas. State income tax is one area I would like to look at, and the corporate tax as well. Our corporate taxes could be better. All right. Another